Hello, hello, hello. It's coffee time. I just need to make a disclaimer. Any snoring you hear is the dog and not the missus. She wants me to tell you that. The dog is snoring. That's the noise that you hear. No other YouTuber brings you the ambience of a snoring dog, but I do. Yay! BoJo is quitting. That's the big news. Yeah, it's been a busy 24 hours. People have been resigning in the government. MPs have been resigning left, right and centre. We don't actually have a functioning government anymore because, well, it all kind of imploded. Boy, did it implode. This morning I said to my side, it's 50 have resigned, and then it was like 52, and then it's like 58, and it's got to the point where they were thinking of installing a revolving door on number 10. It's you've got to feel for poor old BoJo, our fluffy-haired leader. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it in politics. I don't think we've ever seen anything like it. Dog is very asleep. Because we had the vote of no confidence, which he won, and they couldn't do it again because of the rules. It's got to be like a cooling off period again. So yeah, the UK is in a very strange position now. Of course, I personally think he should have held on and called an election, and in that way, the country gets to decide. Because BoJo, if he does quit again, they're saying he's going to make the announcement at midday, but he's never always on time when he does these things. So I said to the missus, do I wait till midday, or do I just do it? What I do? I decided not to wait for him. So if it all goes differently and he doesn't quit, it's not my fault. All right, everyone's reporting that he's quitting, but if he does quit, we're going to have to wait until October for there to be a replacement. Again, he could step down and we have an interim Prime Minister. Maybe Theresa May can come back. I think she'd tell him to go and do one. But again, it means until October, the country is leaderless. We are without a rudder. And I think that's probably more harmful. I think calling a snap election, again, if Labour will win that, I don't know. It's hard to say. You never know how these things work. At least it would have solved the problem. And at least, again, in Boris's mind, he is of the mind that, well, the country voted for him. That's his reason to be. And these ne'er-do-wells can just take a long walk off a short pier. And you can understand that because it's the voters who put you in this position and not the people around him. And there are two ways of looking at this. In one way, you could say, wow, this is democracy in action, because even though we vote for these people, the ministers who in the Conservative Party are looking out for our interests because they've ousted Boris because he's doing a bad job. Or you could say it's the opposite of that, because they have no right to oust their leader like this because he'd already survived it's a weird time in politics at the moment, but it's very entertaining. And then of course we have the leadership race, and be careful what you wish for. You might just have Prime Minister Gove. I really don't know what to say. But yeah, so poor old BoJo, it didn't quite go how he planned, but look what they did to Thatcher. They've done the same to him. We're gonna miss him. Not that he's going anywhere, but like I said, wouldn't it be funny if he gets behind the podium and says, I'm not going anywhere, I call an election, and then watch all the Conservatives who've stabbed him in the back panic because they realise that they're their power is determined on him. Again, he gave them these seats, especially what happened, you know, in the was it the red wall, the supposedly safe Labour seats that he won, because it was Johnson that won that, and this is how they repay him. But that's a Conservative Party for you. That's the Conservative Party for you. Didn't he ever think that this could happen? But yeah, the list of, it's just crazy. The list of people who resign, it's just so many. It's not even worth reading it. But everybody, it was a case of who was turning up for work today more than anything else. So what other news is there? Elon Musk's been busy. Turns out he's got 9 children now, because one of his executive, Siobhan Zillis, who's 36, had twins with him. With the 51-year-old entrepreneur. I mean, crikey, he don't stop, does he? He's constantly at it. How does he do it? How does he keep so focused? But then they do say money and power is an amazing aphrodisiac. You know, but one day they're going to tell the truth about his face and how much surgery he's had. You know, that's not a dimple on his chin. That's his belly button. That's his belly button come up for some air. But yeah, there you go. Meanwhile, violinist Julie Berthollet is complaining. Why is she complaining? She's moving back to Switzerland after living in Paris for a while and being mugged twice in one day. Again, last time me and the missus was in Paris, it was a bit of a free for all. Here she is in action. She's a virtuoso violinist. I don't know if they steal her violin. There's a joke in there about fiddle. There's a fiddle joke in there somewhere. But yeah, they tried to steal her phone and her jewellery. But what bothered her was the fact that no one around her helped. Again, I think that's symptomatic of most big cities, isn't it? Most metropolitan areas, everyone's too busy. Everyone's head down, facing their phones to involve themselves, and then you don't necessarily know what you're getting involved in because people can be armed. It's a sad world we live in, isn't it? It's a sad, sad world we live in. And this is the story of Hayley Copplestone. She's a deputy headmistress, and she taught at a spiritual free school that boasts of a consciousness-based education. Here she is. And what's she been up to? What was she doing? Well, the school, which is in it's the was it the Maharishi with the 2-pronged crown, Ormskirk, Lancashire, where pupils can learn transcendental meditation. I've seen that. It's where they bounce up and down and they pretend that they're levitating. But yeah, the school has 200 students and uses consciousness-based education. And yeah, a Miss, is it Miss or Mrs? I don't know. She's a mother of one. Miss Copplestone liked. Actually, here's a more modern picture of her. She looks a bit. She doesn't look like the same woman. She looks. Well, I'll explain why. Here she is. There. Looks a bit rougher there. Looks a bit rough. But anyway, Copplestone certainly liked losing consciousness. Why? Because she was 4 times over the drink drive limit when she hit her car at a lunchtime head-on shunt. Yep, she was breathalyzed and tested 4 times over the alcohol limit when a black BMW veered onto the wrong side of the road and crashed into an oncoming Nissan Juke on the 23rd of April this year. But yeah, she staggered away from her vehicle. I'm not surprised. That's a lack of consciousness. She lost consciousness. But don't worry, she was sentenced to 12 weeks imprisonment, suspended, of course. And she's getting treatment for alcohol problems. Surely the transcendental meditation would help. See, it doesn't work like that, does it? It doesn't work like that. Oh. Meanwhile, back in court, this is the story of John Rankin Cornforth and Simon Denyer. Let's pull them up. And Mr. Cornforth is taking Denyer to court. It's an odd one. This is an odd one. Let me just. Oh, my computer is just futzing up. Oh, computer, why did you do this to me? Anyway, this is Mr. Cornforth coming out of court, and his friend or ex-friend. The sound of me desperately trying to get my browser window. Your browser is stuck. Do you want to reload it? Yes, please. Gets in the way, doesn't it? And this is Mr. Denyer who's suing. And you're probably thinking, what's going on? Well, Mr. Denyer used to be a former street sweeper. Put the right teeth in, Darren. And he had hard times, like you do. Oh, now the dog's dreaming. The dog's dreaming. He hit hard times. But anyway, Mr. Cornforth, who's a multi-millionaire, gave him 200 grand to help him out. This was 10 years ago. And he was like, that's nice. That's nice. And Cornforth, he's a multi-millionaire. He's got a £1.5 million home in Guildford and property in New Zealand worth over $500,000. And he's loaded, absolutely loaded. But yeah, he decided after they were drinking buddies, and they were, you could say they were pretty close friends, and he helped him pay half a mortgage and cover costs of a divorce. And now he wants his 200 grand back. Yeah, so I don't know. I feel again. I think they were meant to be loans. He said Denyer accepted the divorce monies were loans, but he claims that the mortgage side of things was a gift. So they're arguing. What's what? There you go. Be careful of millionaires, because they might want it all back. They fell right out. But you know who's making the money? The lawyers. That's who's making the money out of that. Don't worry, folks. A huge asteroid the size of a bus will be coming close approach to us today. And astronomers only detected it 3 days ago. Hooray! Of course. The asteroid, called 2022 NF, the NF stands for Nigel Farage, will come within 54,843 miles of the planet, which is about that far. It's that close. It's about over a quarter of the distance of the moon at its closest point to Earth, apparently. So that's pretty close. It's going to skim us. And it'll be fine, won't it? It'll be all right. But yeah, interesting. They've only just known about it for 3 days, because again, the astronomers, they don't know what they're doing. These huge bits, blocks of rock that are flying through the cosmos. They come out of nowhere. They come out of nowhere. They're like those electric cars now. You can't hear them. And they're on you before you know it. You're looking all ways and you step out and there's an electric car behind you. That's like, yeah. Meanwhile, this is the story of Colin Unsworth and Sadie Tan. They were doing something good. They're riding from John O'Groats to Land's End, raising money for charity. That's true. They're doing it for charity. What charity are they doing it for? I'm trying to find. It doesn't mention. But anyway, they are doing this bike ride for charity. Why doesn't it tell you what the charity is? When they were knocked off their bike. They were knocked off their bike near the Bridge of Erne in Perthshire. And it was captured on camera. So she's given the footage to the police. And yeah, this motorist swerved into them, knocking them off. But luckily they escaped with just a few bruises and skinned their knees. And they're on the hunt for this person who did this. Oh wait a minute! I've just forgotten a tiny little detail of the story. Right, remember, Colin Unsworth, Sadie Tan, they're doing this charity bike ride because they're doing it nude. That's it. They're nude tandem riders who were knocked off their bikes. See, I knew there was a tiny little detail. A tiny little detail. It reminds me, must get some mushrooms, some button mushrooms from the supermarket. Yeah, they were knocked off their bike by a disgruntled motorist, and there they were worrying about getting saddle sore. Yeah, they didn't expect that, did they? They didn't expect that. They didn't expect that. Footage has emerged of Hunter Biden's $20,000 drug retreat. Hunter Biden, of course, is the son of Joe Biden, and again, how did I get this footage? Here he is. He's in an isolation tank, completely naked, getting drunk and smoking drugs. Yay! There you go. A little bit of politics there for you. Meanwhile, who wants some Russian news, comrade? Do you want some Russian news? This is Vyacheslav Volodin, and he's Russia's most senior MP. And what's he been up to? Here he is. He looks, I don't know. He's got a bit of the William Shatners about him. I don't know. But what's he been up to? Well, he's threatened America. Oh God. Oh God. You know they're moving the nukes around. And we might not even have a prime minister by midday. But anyway, Vyacheslav Volodin has threatened the US, and he said that the Russians are going to take back Alaska. They're going to take back Alaska if Russian money that's been seized by the US is used to rebuild Ukraine. They're going to steal Alaska. You know, they're going to do it. They're going to do it just like that. They're not even going to Alaska. I couldn't get that one to fit. Sorry. Animal story. Shall we end on an animal story? What I've got many. Oh no, actually I've got a really important one. I've got a couple of really important stories. We won't do the animal story yet. I've got a very important story. This is a very important story. So again, this is another charity story. Another charity story. But damn you pop-ups. Do you want cookies? No, because I have diabetes. This isn't even the Daily Mail website. Every website is just rebelling against me. Rebelling, I say. Everyone is rebelling. This is the return of the Gimp Man of Essex. He's a well-known character from Colchester, and he's been around doing the rounds for nearly a decade, shopping in Tesco's, wandering around the high street, and he's back, and he claims this is all for a good cause, and he's raised nearly £3,000 for local mental health charities, and every time someone posts a photo of him online, he donates £1. And since the pandemic, he's not been doing it, but he's back. He's back, and he's raising money for Mind this time in mid and northeast Essex. So does that mean I have to give him £1? I don't know. I don't want to give him £1. I don't want to give him £1. Shall we end up with a story? Oh, it's an animal story. Okay, this is a story coming out of Florida. Oh no, that ain't good, is it? And it's these fellows here. Yeah, these giant snails have been found in Florida. Yeah. They're an invasive species, and they can grow up to 8 inches long, around the same size as a rat. And it's forced an entire Florida town into quarantine. These giant gastropods are native to Africa. They come from over in Africa, and again, these are a invasive species and they're prohibited. So again, you're not allowed to take soil and plants and whatever into America, but somehow they've managed to make their way to Florida, of course, the craziest of all states. And the city of Port Richey, which is just north of Tampa, they've confirmed an outbreak of these giant snails on June the 23rd. And they can, they're awful. They're awful creatures. They can lay thousands and thousands of eggs. They reproduce a lot, and 1,200 eggs in a year. And the real bad part is not only do they spread lungworm, which is again very dangerous for dogs. I always used to worry about Alex because he used to eat slugs, and slugs and snails can spread lungworm. That's a horrible parasite that can get into the lungs and nasty. But another thing they spread is the lungworm parasite can lead to meningitis in humans. In dogs, it just basically makes them die. They keel over and have heart attacks and whatnot because the parasites get in their blood, and it's horrible. But yeah, in humans, it can cause meningitis. So if you see a giant snail, make sure you've got a big tub of salt with you. Yeah, and that's been the news. So we've gone from BoJo leaving Parliament to giant snails. I'm sure there's, I don't know, there seems almost like a circular theme there to the news, from one useless slithery creature to another. I think that's it. I think we're done. Let's see if there's anybody in the chat. I don't think there won't be. There won't be, will there? Will there be anybody in there? I don't know. Let me see. Let's have a butcher's hook. Oh no, it's quite busy. Andrew's in. He says hi. A classic album reviews. Maybe should be PM. Who, me? They couldn't afford me. Andrew says infamy. Everybody's got it. Infamy, exactly. The famous Kenneth William line, isn't it? From Carry On Up the Kite. No, Cleopatra, isn't it? No, don't vote for me. Don't vote for me. I'm incredibly perverted. Prog Corner says, can you believe that most Americans have no idea who Boris is? Yeah, I can, because America is such an insular place. I remember being in America when the Olympics were on, and it was almost impossible to get any news coverage of the British Olympics team. It was all America, 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 no one else. And it was very hard to find out how the British Olympic team was doing. So I can believe that. Stephen Wilson for PM says, Alex, you're a cheeky scamp. Classic says, asking which member of the cabinet you'd want to replace Boris is like being offered a jar of pickled onions and being asked which would make the best cricket ball. I'm so disappointed with everyone at the moment. Mind you, you could see Angela Rayner. She was taking it seriously today. She was actually in trousers, so she wasn't flashing her gash and distracting poor Boris, because he's done for. Doesn't need to do it anymore. So she's in the trousers. You know, the old growler is away. Deep Impact in Loughton. Yes, well, it's gonna skim by. It's gonna skim us. Joseph says the American president will sleep right through the Alaskan invasion, and his son will be coked off his tits, I'd imagine. Or whatever it is he takes these days. Florida, invasive species capital of the world. Again, Florida, man. I'm surprised he's not, I don't know, been cooking them and eating them with some bath salts or something. You know what Florida man is like. So again, it's coming up to midday. I'll have a look at the news. Again, I kind of extended this a bit. I've got loads of stories I could extend out to, but I'll have a little look just in case Boris has gone live. Let me have a butcher's. Boris quit. Oh no, he's put it back to 1 p.m. and he's busy. See, I reckon it's going to be 1 p.m. They said midday earlier. Now it's 1 p.m. God, it keeps changing because he's putting together a unity cabinet. He's bought that from IKEA, isn't he? That's why he needs an extra hour. Get Kieran. He sounds like he'd know how to assemble an IKEA cabinet. IKEA, not IKEA. It's IKEA, Darren. You've got to say it properly because everyone will get you in the comments. IKEA, not IKEA. IKEA. Meatballs. No, that's just the cut of these trousers, says Boris. Anyway, I think I've done enough damage. I've gone and closed the wrong window. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, Mrs., did you enjoy that one? Did you enjoy it? I've still got some good animal stories. Don't worry, I've got a lot in reserve. Andrew's going to see the Elvis film later on. The funny thing is, I was going to do a story because, whoops, you've seen my desktop. I've pressed the wrong button. Wait, like I said, I don't know what I'm doing. You don't want to see my desktop. Look, you can see, look, behind the scenes. Look at that. Look at that. You can see what's going on. Look, you can see the chat window. Isn't that clever? Because Ryan, not Ryan Luke, is it? He was talking to me because he saw the Freaks video and he seemed to think I was defending Jimmy Savile. Oh, and I thought I'd do a video about the whole attitude to celebrities fiddling with kids, because we have this weird attitude, and Elvis is one of them. And because this is why I do these skits about like Prince Andrew and John Peel, because there's a lot of hypocrisy. We have an amazing moral hypocrisy when our celebrities misbehave, and I was going to do a little piece about it, just so people understand what I'm getting at, because sometimes, again, the freak has edited my words very carefully to make me look like I'm somehow, condoning paedophilia, because, that's what they do. But it seemed quite apt, especially as I was talking about John Peel the other day, and I've always had a bee in my bonnet about John Peel for many, many years. It goes back to the turn of the millennium, again, it was an article Julie Burchill wrote back in '99. And it goes back further than that. I remember she kind of crystallised what I thought. But anyway, I'm talking about it now. I need to do a separate video about it. Because Elvis liked him young, didn't he? he liked him young as well, but he got off with it because he was cool, and that was my point. Anyway, thank you for watching. Pink Floyd, got to do Pink Floyd videos next. They're not going down very well. I thought I'd get like millions of views, but obviously you don't want Pink Floyd videos. I don't know what you want. You don't want coffee time. You don't want Pink Floyd videos. Wait a minute, I think I'm getting the message. Anyway, have a great day. Sorry you didn't like the video, and we'll do this all again soon. That's been the news. You better drink it up. Ta.